Hello everybody, I am Keaton and this is Kid Catholic Season 12, Episode 10. I hope that you all are having an absolutely wonderful Tuesday so far. I know that I am, and a very spiritually beneficial Lent. Now, Holy Week is coming up just next week, so next week's video, we will be diving into Holy Week, all that comes into that. Holy Week is the culmination of everything that we believe in within our Catholic faith. So it is a very important, very special week to us as Catholics, and should be for everybody throughout the world. Now, what I wanted to talk about today, I'm going to give just a little brief disclaimer. If you are younger, I would encourage you to not watch this video. If you are a parent watching it with your kids, like maybe watch it by yourself first before deciding if you are to allow your kids to watch it or not. Now, I know you can tell by the title and thumbnail what this video is about, and I know that I have made a lot of these videos. I made a lot of videos on abortion, but I want to make it clear that I don't just make so many of these videos because, oh, it gets views, or because, oh, I want to continue doing it, I want to be controversial. I continue to make videos on this subject because it still remains the number one biggest problem in our world, 110%. I don't think there's really any debate about that. It is legal mass genocide of babies, and it's so normalized and so encouraged. What I wanted to talk about today is look at a couple of specific recent instances that exemplify the dangerous evil of abortion and how far it has gone. And then I also want to take a look at how there's this sort of stigma with the pro-life movement, right? Because abortion is so encouraged and so loved and so praised, and all of it comes from, or a lot of them claim it comes from, care for the woman. There's this idea that you can either you either love the woman and you're pro-choice, or if you're pro-life, you suddenly don't care about the woman. The woman becomes irrelevant if you're pro-life. That is the stigma that is stuck with the pro-life movement right now, that's stuck with the Catholic Church, and it is simply not true. I want to exemplify how you can be for the baby and for the mother, both and, right? This isn't an either or thing. It's both and, because both lives are human lives created in God's image and likeness and are therefore valuable, because at the end of the day, human life is valuable. So, there's a couple of different things to unpack in this episode, but it will all be very essential. And again, guys, I'm making this video because it's such a prevalent issue, and I'm not going to sit here and not talk about it when I have a platform that I can talk about it on, because it is so serious. So recently, an article from Live Action, which by the way is an absolutely incredible pro-life organization. You can see a lot of what's going on in the pro-life movement through Live Action and a lot of recent news, so I would highly suggest checking them out if you have not. But it's about the aborted babies discovered in Washington, D.C. So what happened was there was a pro-life woman who claimed to be pro-life. And again, the details are pretty fuzzy, and I'm not going to explain all of it. You can go, I'll link the article down below, and you can go check out the article. I wouldn't suggest, I'm not going to show any of the pictures on here. The pictures are very gruesome. They are literally pictures of dead babies, and it's sad to sit here and talk about, and it's very disheartening that anybody could find anything morally correct with this. Again, I'll link the article in the description down below. But again, if you are a child or anything, do absolutely do not look at that. It's sad to see, because these babies, again, they're looking to see if there was anything illegal that went on. Even if it was done legally, even if it was just late-term abortions legal, that still doesn't make it morally correct. It's still a literal child that is being murdered, and it is disgusting to go and see. So I would suggest that you look at that article to see a lot more details about what happened, but that's just one example of how far we have gone in society, that just dead babies, that this isn't the number one news story, that finding dead babies is just a typical thing that Live Action posts about, but other than that, it gets swept under the rug. Additionally, I found this article from the Denver Post. I'll link that in the description down below, that says Colorado now guarantees the right to abortion in state law. And here is what really irritated me about this article. There's a picture, the main picture, okay? Underneath the picture, it says lawmakers and supporters erupt in applause and cheers after Governor Jared Polis signs the Reproductive Health Equity Act into law at the governor's residence on April 4th, 2022. So this is literally like yesterday, as of when this is posted. Like, this happened very, very ridiculously recently. And what's irritating about this picture is when you just sit back and look at it, it's literally people cheering and erupting into applause because the right to murder a child was just put into state law, guaranteed the right to murder a child. And I put right in quotation marks because nobody has the right to end another life of another person, whether that be the mother, whether that be the child. You just don't. And it's really morally sad to see. Like, it is the most morally disgusting thing. Abortion is just morally disgusting. Here's the deal. The Catholic Church is obviously very much against abortion. We just are. We are very pro-life. We support the baby and the woman, okay? Even beyond that, you don't have to be religious to agree with the pro-life movement. We are not just pro-life because the Catholic Church believes it. Like, obviously, yes, that's a big part of it. What the Catholic Church teaches, I believe. I follow what the Catholic Church says. But in addition to that, it's morally disgusting regardless of if someone is Catholic or not. And I really don't like this stigma that it's just, oh, the oppressive Catholic Church stuck in the past. No. This is just saying, listen, this is mass genocide. And for some reason, people who are pro-choice, just they can't get that through their heads. They don't see it as a life, even though scientifically in every way it literally is a life. So I want to look here, and I want to sort of take back sort of this idea that somehow we don't care about the women, that somehow the people in the pro-life movement are very anti-women, and that we don't care about what the woman's going through, all of this. First off, there is a big lie told by the abortion industry, a huge lie told by many big pro-choice organizations, such as Planned Parenthood, which commits mass genocide on the regular, that somehow getting an abortion for a woman is liberating, okay? That a woman getting an abortion is great for her, that she'll feel independent, that she will feel powerful, that she will feel strong. Abortion has so many negative effects on women, a ridiculous amount. In fact, there's a study that I will link in the description down below. It found that among women who took the abortion pill, 83% said they were changed by their abortions, with 77% saying the change was negative. 77% said they regretted their abortions. 60% reported feelings of isolation and alienation, and 38% reported problems with anxiety, depression, drug abuse, and or suicidal thoughts as a direct result of the abortion. It says, in addition, a 2017 study found that 67.5% of women who had abortions sought help from a psychiatrist, psychologist, or counselor after their abortions. It says another study found that women who aborted experienced an 81% increased risk of mental health problems. The study estimated that 10%, or 1 in 10 mental illnesses among the population, were triggered by an abortion. Somehow this liberates women. Somehow a woman getting an abortion is good for her, is independent. Here's the deal. We in the Catholic Church, we do not judge, right? It's not our place to judge, it's God's place to judge, but we can judge other people's actions. This idea that the Catholic Church just hates any woman who is pro-choice or hates any woman who gets an abortion is ridiculous, because we don't, right? We try our best not to hate. I'm sure that there are Catholics who might have come off that way in the past, but again, a few Catholics are not a representative of the whole church. However, saying that abortion negatively does affect women is just a factually and statistically correct statement. It really does. It affects the woman, and it literally takes away an innocent life that did nothing wrong. So here's what I want to look at to sort of exemplify. Now, this is sort of a long thing to read, but to go back and exemplify how the Catholic Church is not just against all women or hate women who get abortions. Pope John Paul II wrote this in an encyclical. So Pope St. John Paul II, who's now a saint now, wrote this. It's a little bit lengthy, but I feel that it is necessary to read. It reads, quote, "I would now like to say a special word to women who have had an abortion. The Church is aware of the many factors which may have influenced your decision, and she does not doubt that in many cases it was a painful and even shattering decision. The wound in your heart may not yet have healed. Certainly what happened was and remains terribly wrong. But do not give in to discouragement and do not lose hope. Try rather to understand what happened and face it honestly. If you have not already done so, give yourselves over with humility and trust to repentance. The Father of mercies is ready to give you his forgiveness and his peace in the sacrament of reconciliation. To the same Father and his mercy, you can with sure hope entrust your child. With the friendly and expert help and advice for other people, and as a result of your own painful experience, you can be among the most eloquent defenders of everyone's right to life. Through your commitment to life, whether by accepting the birth of other children or by welcoming and caring for those most in need of someone to be close to them, you will become promoters of a new way of looking at human life." If that somehow sounds hateful or judgmental or anti-woman, explain that one to me, because it absolutely does not. Here's the deal. Getting an abortion, it doesn't suddenly remove the pregnant. It doesn't suddenly make it to where you never had a kid. It just makes you the parent of a dead child. It does. And that's just how it is. Having an abortion makes you the parent of a dead child. And that's sad. And somehow we as Catholics, we get hate for this. We get hate for taking this position. And again, the reason I'm making another video on this is because if I get hate for standing up against the worst evil that our century has seen, then I'll take the hate all day. Because the reality is the Catholic Church makes it clear, and logic makes it clear, that these babies are alive, that they have life, that they have heartbeats, that they are going to be born. And here's the deal. Whether a person lives or not, whether a person ends up being born and gets to have a life or stays in the womb and gets murdered, shouldn't be determined based on if they're wanted or not. People who support abortion, while they may not think about it consciously, subconsciously do genuinely think this way. That, if a baby is not wanted, then it does not have any value. If a child in a womb is not wanted, if it is thrown off to the curb, then allow it to happen. They see children as choices, not as lives. And that's the issue. And I understand that this is a controversial topic. I understand that this is something that we as Catholics can be nervous to talk about sometimes. We can be nervous to stand up for it. We can be nervous to defend it. But here's the deal. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't be a controversial topic. It should be a very clear moral topic. And we should be willing to stand up for it, to stand up for God's creation, just as God wanted us to stand strong. And I'm not going to apologize for making a lot of videos about this, and I'm definitely going to make videos about this in the future because it is a despicable moral evil that needs to be talked about. And the conversation of abortion shouldn't just come up every now and then. It should be talked about consistently because it is such a ridiculous evil. And it's up to us as members of the Catholic Church to try to exemplify that to the rest of society. Sometimes it seems like they're too far gone, but it doesn't matter, guys. Abortion is murder. There's no way of going around that because the child is alive. I'm not saying that we should go out of here and hate everybody who's pro-choice. I'm not saying that we should go out of here and suddenly be rude to every single person that we know who supports abortion. That is absolutely the opposite of what I am saying, okay? We should pray for them. We should love them. We should show them kindness because many of them are kind people who tried their best to have good souls. We in the pro-life movement, we believe that whether you should be alive or dead isn't determined based on if you're wanted or not. We believe that everybody should be alive so that everybody has that gift of being made in the image and likeness of God, being created, and getting to the eternal kingdom of heaven. Because at the end of the day, that is our ultimate goal. So let us, as Catholics, do our best to not judge others, to love everybody, whether they support abortion or not, because that doesn't determine, the opinions of a person doesn't determine whether or not you are to love them. Opinions of a person doesn't determine whether or not you are to be friends with them, okay? However, we nevertheless need to do our best to defend the right to life, to defend the right of these innocent babies and of these women who are being tormented and mentally drained because of a lie that our society is telling them that somehow killing your child is liberating. So now that the topic is done, y'all know what it's time for now. It's time for
the Saint of the Week.
And today's Saint of the Week is St. Vincent Ferrer. Now, it is St. Vincent's feast day today, so of course we are going to talk about him. Now, when we're talking about standing up for what is right and going through a journey to do that, St. Vincent is a very good example of this. He was born in 1350, died in 1419, but he was around in a time of great turmoil within the church, and that is the Western Schism, in which there were multiple popes, and then there was an anti-pope, and then they weren't sure which the true pope was. It's a whole ordeal. Basically, let me explain it from Vincent's perspective. So Vincent supported Clement VII, who lived in Avignon, France. So at the time, Clement VII was in Avignon, and it was Vincent who was one of his supporters. You had Urban VI in Rome. At one point, after Clement VII died, there was then elected Benedict XIII. Benedict XIII was, again, an anti-pope, but he actually ordained Vincent to the priesthood. Vincent defended Benedict the 13th through everything, but then became sort of like iffy about how non-committed Benedict actually was to the faith, and eventually became very, very ill. And despite his illness, he finally came to the true conclusion that Benedict was an anti-pope, that Benedict was not the true pope. And so this is like one of the coolest things I think I've ever heard a saint do. Okay, so he despite being very ill, okay, at the pulpit in which Benedict was in attendance, denounced Benedict as being the true pope, said that he was an anti-pope, basically like called out Benedict in front of the entire congregation. And then Benedict ended up leaving that, like fleeing. Because like how incredible is that? You talk about standing up for what is right. Vincent absolutely did that. And that is something that we 110% need in our modern society. So anytime we feel that we are struggling to stand up against the evil of abortion, struggling in whatever way that may be, we can always turn to St. Vincent Ferrer for help. St. Vincent Ferrer, pray for us. So before you guys click off this video, I am not just a YouTuber, I'm also a Catholic speaker. So I would love to come and get to speak to your church, youth group, men's group, women's group, you name it, conference, whatever it might be. So if you want to book me to come and speak, please email me directly at kidcatholic1@gmail.com or go to my website, kidcatholic.com, click the contact me page, and email me from there. Also, please go to my website in general. There's so many awesome things you can do on there. Your very own Kid Catholic shop is up there. All my videos are up there. It is a pretty awesome website. Please click the red subscribe button down below and the bell next to it. That way you get notified when I come out with a new video. We are trying to get to 6,000 subscribers, and your continued support really does help to grow this channel. Please check out all three of my social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The link to all three of those will be in the description down below. And please comment any senior topic suggestions that you might have for future videos, and please give this video a thumbs up. Once again, I hope that you guys have had a very spiritually beneficial Lent and are having an absolutely wonderful Tuesday or whatever day it is for you watching this so far. Thank you all for watching. This was Keaton of Kid Catholic. I'll see you all next week, and hi Brielle.